So they had the video of Homer Simpson sitting on his roof, and pretty much all of America is pretty much destroyed around him. And it's another future prediction there.
Is it?
Well, by the looks of it, look, we're not. What are we on?
If on January 21, if there's not some guy with yellow skin sitting on his roof and the whole world's burning, then it's not a prediction. But it does align with when Biden takes over, right?
It does, because that's the inaugural day.
Yeah.
Now, Simpsons have been known to predict shit in the past. Okay, we had that Donald Trump one where he was going down the escalators and everything aligned, whether it was the kid, the balloon, where he was standing, everything just in line. Then we also have their FaceTime, where they predict the FaceTime and the smartwatch, and what else do we have here? The GoPro, the faulty voting machines, and all that type of stuff. And then it's like, well, what more can Simpsons predict, really? Like, it's actually pretty freaky. Like, I think there's two sides to this. One, Matt Groening's either traveling to the future and figuring it out and coming back and making money off it.
Which, in my opinion, is the most likely.
Which is scientifically, it's the most likely. Or the show's been around for 30 years. Okay, there is so many probabilities that they could write about this. And mind you, they're not like I don't even know how many episodes that they're on, but 30 years worth of episodes is a lot. Now, I get, like, when they predict the FaceTime. Don't get me wrong. Back in the 70s and 80s, my mum was telling us, there's going to be, not telling me in the 70s, but she's like, back in the 70s, we were being heard that we could speak to someone and we're going to see someone from overseas and they're going to build some chat. So it always existed, but Simpsons just made it mainstream. Even the smartwatch. You had TV shows, you had Get Smart, you had all those other shows that, they had those smart gadgets and stuff like that. Now, whether it's coming down to, Milhouse predicting the Nobel Prize winner, fair enough. That's where you can sort of go, okay, fair enough. Or the Donald Trump incident. And now we have this Homer Simpson potentially being correct, because I don't see this going away anytime soon. So what do you reckon? Do you reckon these guys are traveling to the future? Is Simpsons just pretty much predicting or writing our lives?
Look, I was going to say what you said about, 30 years of episodes. When I try and think of something that Simpsons hasn't done, there's not many things. You know what I mean? Like, there's something in some episode, in some season, where they do that thing. And I agree with you. Even though they haven't made a phone a shoe that can make phone calls yet, a lot of that stuff is foreseeable. For example, there was one with a GoPro where they put, like, a camera inside, Homer's
when
hat.
he was walking to the Quickie Mart, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, spy movies and stuff like that came up with that stuff a long time ago. Those things are possible. The Nobel Prize, I'm not going to think that one's freaky, but there's things like, for example, there's one where Lady Gaga sings at a Super Bowl at a certain year. Look, if I was someone who was higher up in the organization of Super Bowl, right, and I saw that episode of Simpsons, I'd be like, hey, man, wouldn't it be funny if we got Lady Gaga to do it this year? You know what I mean? Like, it could influence the organization of stuff like that. Where it freaks me out is the Donald Trump thing, because, yeah, man, he can go on an escalator at any time, blah, blah, but the balloons aren't going to meet up. The people in the background's not going to meet up. The amount of coincidences there is a little bit scary. The other thing is, like, these tragic events. 9/11 was predicted way before it happened. Like, it wasn't just like a terrorist attack's going to happen. You can actually see the World Trade Centers in that thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was something about the Boston bombings and stuff like that. There was some sort of, like, I don't know if it's correct, if I misremember it, but there was something like that. Those things are the ones that make me go, what is going on?
Well, I don't remember the Boston bombing one. I could be wrong. Like, I don't remember seeing that. I'm pretty sure it'll be in all over media right now. And the tinfoil hat's going on, guys. That's it. Shit's going down real. But I think, look, there's massive ones here, because you got the Ebola outbreak.
There's Ebola as well.
That was the one where I think she was giving the book to Marge was giving the book to Bart, and it had the Ebola thing on it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And that was before the Ebola outbreak. Disney buying Fox. That's another massive one. I think it's just more along the lines of probability. I can't see this being as a future prediction. I personally am not one of the believers where time travel is possible. I believe you can travel into the future, not to the back though. Not to the past, not to the back. To the past. Okay. I believe that you possibly could, regarding using time, regarding using space, yes, you can lose time whilst in space to come back and time has changed, but you can't necessarily click a button and be like, okay, I want to go to 1968.
14,
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just my view on it. So I think it's just more, it's just a conspiracy in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's where I was gonna head to, is like, are these big things that happen then planned? You know, if we want to go down that tinfoil conspiracy road, do you see like, okay, 9/11 was a planned thing that happened? Because there's all this talk about 9/11 is an inside job. Whether I believe it or not, I'm not going to think. But can these events then be, you know, planned? Was it, I don't know, planned after the episode of Simpsons came out? Because look, when I think of Disney taking over Fox, if I was going to tease the network that I work for, I'd probably make an episode like that. Like, for example, if I was working for McDonald's, I'd say like KFC bought out McDonald's. If it doesn't happen, it's not something that stays in the memories of people too long. But if it happens, it's when it's like, dude, this happened on Simpsons like 14 years ago. Do you remember? You know what I mean? So there are a lot of those. If you watch Simpsons, a lot of random stuff happens, and sometimes it just clicks.
Yeah.
But I can't help but ask that these big events like 9/11 changed the world, right? Certain things like, obviously, Trump taking over changed the world. Are these then planned? And has Matt Groening or whoever's on the executive staff of The Simpsons got connections to people who are planning these things years in advance?
I don't know. There you go.
You just don't know, but it's definitely interesting, and more stuff's gonna pop up as the years go on.
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
They predicted that like Apu was going to be working in convenience stores, and you know, people of his cultural background everywhere do. But then other cultural backgrounds work in convenience stores too.
Yeah. You had Siegfried and Roy, their tiger issue. You had the NSA listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was in the Simpsons movie. I don't know. Look, I personally just believe this is all coincidence. Whether we start to import Simpsons into our history books and say, well, Simpsons are the global leaders of the world. I don't think so, but I definitely will not. To be fair, I haven't watched the Simpsons episode in a long time.
Same. Like, I used to watch it on when it was on like at 6 o'clock or whatever,
Yeah.
like before the news or whatever it was,
Yeah,
or
it was
after
after
the
the
news.
news,
Yeah,
yeah.
after the news. That's when I used to watch it when it was on. I haven't watched Simpsons in so many years. It's not something that I watched very, very closely as well. Like, I sort of got into South Park later in my life and stuff like that. But it's just interesting that South Park has a lot of episodes as well, but we don't talk about the coincidences in South Park as much as we do with Simpsons. So, just interesting. Let us know what you guys think in the comments and stuff, and you know, we can have a discussion about this.